Hello, welcome to this edition of the Danny Sancomb Show. I'm your host, Matt Kiefer, the Director of Athletic Communications here with the Vulcans. Coach, another one of those things where a tough road trip on Saturday, but it's sort of like a little break there on the Wednesday, no game, so only one game last week to prepare with Edinburgh. But you guys went up Friday night and then had a game on Saturday afternoon against the Fighting Scots, and it was a tough game for the Vulcans.
Yeah, offensively, we played well. We were over 50% from the field. We moved the ball well. We made some shots, but we were punished on the glass. I think that was the biggest difference. We were minus 20 on the glass, and it's hard to win there. I think our defense needs to be better as well, but I think if we would have rebounded the ball, we would have had a chance to win the game. I think with about 4.5 minutes left in the game, we cut it to 2 and couldn't get any closer than that. And they made plays when we didn't make plays, so it was a frustrating loss because I thought offensively we did enough to win the game, but we didn't do enough defensively and rebounding.
Yeah, it's one of those things there, just a little bit of foul trouble there. Their big post player was able to get inside there and do some different things. Then Dahlman gets a couple fouls, and with the injuries you've had this year, depth, you throw what you can out there, but at the same point trying to slow a guy down that big and that controlling the glass, it's kind of tough to be able to battle back from.
No doubt, and he's he leads the country in offensive rebounds. He gets about 5.2 offensive rebounds per game, and he upped that against us. And then free throws too. We didn't get to the line. We didn't attack good enough. I think we went 6 times. They went 35 times. And we fouled the last 2 minutes, so we tried to keep the game up. But there was a big difference in them outscoring us from the free throw line, which we usually typically take that advantage, but we just didn't do that. They didn't foul.
Yeah, it's one of those things. They had really balanced scoring. They had 4 guys in double digits. Irvin, the post you were talking about, ended up with 21 and 15. He's actually second in the country in double-doubles. It's one of those things. He went to Gainan last year, so he's an international player, so he got acclimated to the PSAC, but he's doing really well with the move basically down 79 from Gainan to Edinburgh.
Yeah, he's played well this year. I mean, just watching him on film, and obviously, having 21 and 15 against us, he's had a big year so far this year.
And for the Vulcans there, 3 guys, starters in double digits, Cam and Donald both with 21, and then Buchanan with 19, and DeShields comes off the bench for 12.
Yeah, I thought, first Jordan Buchanan had a really good game offensive. I thought he played well in general. He led us in rebounding. I think he had 6 rebounds. Just a complete game, very efficient from the floor. I thought Cam offensively was very good. He was pretty efficient, close to 50% from the field. And Keandre really gave us some, energetic plays out there. I thought Donald, for Donald, I thought he missed some shots he normally makes. He kept battling. We're asking him to do a lot right now. So, I think he wore down a little bit. I got to figure out how to get him a little bit of a rest at some point throughout the game.
Yeah, Donald played all 40 minutes there on Saturday at 6 assists, 21 points. So, again, the numbers are just a lot, takes a lot out of him playing so much offense and defense. And one of those things you talked about the free throw line, Cam's number 2 in the country in free throw percentage, and he wasn't able to get to the line one time with the calls. So that's always a tough one there when you have one of the nation's best free throw shooters not being able to get to the charity stripe.
Yeah, just getting there 6 times isn't usually going to cut it on the road. We've got to be able to get in that lane, create fouls, and get some free points. We shoot the ball well from the free throw line, so that's a big part of what we try to do, and they negated that, obviously, with only sitting us 6 times.
Yeah, 2 of the notes there from the game had to be at least relatively happy with. The idea of 9 turnovers in the game is pretty good when you're going up and down and having that many possessions. And then Edinburgh only shot 6 of 24 from three-point land. They were actually top 10 in the country in three-pointers made per game. So you were able to stop them from getting to the outside. They just took advantage of the inside with what was going on.
Absolutely. We've really focused in on trying to defend a 3 against them, and we did. But like you mentioned, their post players really, really hurt us on the glass. Just a little bit more physical than we were.
It's one of those things there we talked about a little bit on Thursday. It's just the idea of only having one game last week with the Merciers going up to Division I. You create those extra bye weeks for everybody in the league there. It's an adjustment here for the West that you guys really aren't used to. But it's just something everybody in the West is sort of having to adapt to.
Yeah, and you got to deal with it. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. That's what the schedule is. Mercyhurst is gone. So you're going to have that bye, and everybody always had another bye in general. So, there's going to be a time in your season where you're going to have that little break, that you're just going to have to deal with it. You're going to have to practice. And, that's always kind of a guessing game. You want to practice to get better, but you don't want to overwork where you're physically beat and exhausted before you step out on the floor and play the game. So, that's always challenging for a coach to figure out that balance as far as how hard we should practice. Should we practice longer, shorter? Those types of decisions need to be made.
And it's one of those things there, too, from a recruiting aspect there, at least the idea maybe go be able to check out some more high school games and on those nights there that you maybe be traveling overnight or whatever else, at least gives at least an opportunity there to at least see some different players from around that you guys have an eye on.
Yeah, we definitely took advantage of that during our bye week, and we'll continue to do that. We try to get the games on every Tuesday, Friday between Coach Bridgman and myself. So, we need to be out there, and that does give us a nice chance to do that where we're not turning right around and having to get up and be ready to play and practice. You get a little bit of time when you have that week off.
So we'll take a quick break here, look at the PSAC standings after a full week in the PSAC, and also preview Wednesday's opponent, IUP.
Coach Danny Sancomb and the Vulcans men's basketball is ready to take the conference and the nation by storm this season. A non-conference schedule that starts on November 8th is followed by the PSAC West play in January. Pack the Convocation Center with 13 home games featuring non-conference foes such as Concord, Lincoln, and Wilmington, as well as conference opponents IUP, Gannon, Slippery Rock, Clarion, Edinboro, Seton Hill, and Pitt Johnstown. Follow Cal Vulcans for the all-up-to-date schedule. Catch all the games on YouTube with CUTV Sports 1 and also the PSAC Digital Network.
If you're buzzed and doing this to make yourself feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive.
The Pennsylvania State Athletic Conference celebrates the athletic and academic excellence of its student-athletes. Last year, over 4,000 achieved at least a 3.25 GPA to earn recognition as a PSAC Scholar Athlete. Athletically, over 70 PSAC teams qualified for the NCAA Championships. Champions on the field, champions in the classroom, making the PSAC proud.
Hello, welcome back to this edition of the Sancomb Show. I'm your host, Matt Keifer. And Coach, here we have one more game already. It's hard to believe of the first round of divisional play. January seemingly flown by. A lot of games Wednesdays, Saturdays, one or two Mondays sprinkled in there for some different teams in the conference. But it's just crazy to see the season's almost at the 2/3 mark of the year. You have the crossover season, you have the first round divisional play, and then the second round. It's really seemingly going by very quickly this year.
Yeah, it always does though. Like you start and you get into the the PSAC West. It's usually Wednesday, Saturday, and you blink your eyes and February's here. So we got one more game here in January, and then we're right into February.
So looking at the standings here real quick, we have top of the league is Gannon. They actually suffered their first conference loss of the year on Saturday at Seton Hill. It's one of those things when I saw that, it was kind of one of those schemes going different there. Gannon likes to go up-tempo and be able to shoot the outside, where basically Seton Hill dares you to shoot outside playing in the zone, but one of those things Seton Hill was able to get that W.
Yeah, Seton Hill must have played well, to keep them down to 72 points. That's a tough thing to do, so they had to play well.
And then basically looking at it is almost a log jam. You have only 3 games separating the rest of the entire division. So with basically one more round plus one game left, there's a lot of still left to be shaking out. Cal right there at 5-7, tied with Seton Hill and DPJ, but only one game back against Edinboro and IUP, and 2 games back of Slippery Rock, who you beat once already this year. So it's one of those things, knowing that there's so much still left to go for in the seeding in the top 6. Gannon sort of basically locked themselves into making a tournament berth in the PSAC, but the rest, everybody else is still going at it right now.
Yeah, fight and scratch. I think the parity in the league outside of Gannon is very, very close. Night in, night out, small margins for teams, and the teams that are able to execute and bring the toughness, are going to win. But it's a very, very small margin from 2 to 8. It's very close and competitive.
So crossing over, just looking at the PSAC East, Westchester and Shepherd are still doing their winning streaks. Westchester won 4 in a row, Shepherd's won 5. But then East Stroudsburg picked up a huge win on Wednesday at Millersville, and they took over 3rd place, 1 game ahead of Millersville. So those 4 teams, hasn't been basically all year, those 4 teams have been right there at the top, and those are teams we've seen in crossover play.
Yeah, good teams. Westchester has a talented roster. Shepherd really grinds it out. They defend very well. East Stroudsburg, I think, has just got a very talented roster that can score, and they present problems with their press. And Millersville just has a lot of size and strength, and they can get hot and make threes. Those 4 teams are very good. Lock Haven, you can throw in there at home, is a tough team to beat as well.
And then looking at a team here we have on Wednesday, a team obviously quite familiar with everything there. Joe Lombardi's been the coach at IEP for almost better part of 2 decades now. A new look for this roster for the Crimson Hawks, basically 5 new starters, 2 true freshmen, and a transfer really in this lineup there for the Crimson Hawks.
Yeah, and a lot of new faces for them. They graduated, obviously, a really good post player last year and had a couple kids leave, and I think they had a red shirt with a kid that missed last year and missed again this year. So, I saw them obviously live early. They played down at Charleston when we did, and they just, like I figured, would get better as the year went on, and they're playing good basketball right now. They present a lot of problems. They've got some guys that can score the basketball in different ways, and they're always a very sound defensive team.
Yeah, speaking of defense, they're actually top 5 in the conference in both field goal percentage and points per game, so they're really limiting what teams can do offensively against them. And that's saying something given how many new faces they have.
Yeah, they defend. They always, do that. They present problems with, switching, good ball pressure, and they got guys that can move their feet and stay in front of you, and they got good size and strength to limit you to, one shot. So they do that very, very well.
And looking at their backcourt, they always have good guard play there. They have a freshman point guard from Ontario, which actually makes this more impressive. Is actually lead the conference in fewest turnovers, which is saying something of a true freshman running the point.
Yeah, he's a good player. Saw him early. I figured he'd get better too as the year has, and he has. His ability for his size, though, to get in the lane and be able to finish, and more importantly, get in the lane and find people. And he does a very good job, with that. They put him in a lot of ball screen situations, and he makes good decisions.
Yeah, their leading scorer is number 11, Christian Moore, New Hampshire transfer. He's averaging about 17 a game in 4, so it's one of those things there. He's going to look to get his early on, but just one of those guys you got to be ready for. Looking at him shooting the ball, he's made 49 threes, so he can shoot it inside and outside.
Yeah, and he's smart. Comes off screens, he can shoot it. He can put the ball on the floor and finish at the rim, and can pull up. Has the ability to score on all 3 levels, and does a good job with that. Stays pretty under control offensively, and he presents a big challenge. He's, I think, probably taking 100 more shots than anybody else on the team, and they find him, and he can get open, and he can make plays even when they struggle offensively. He can beat you and score the basketball.
Now, again, looking a little bit in the idea of Saturday being the second round divisional play, starting up with game. How is it as a coach, knowing a team you played basically just a month ago? You don't have to do basically scout from scratch, but you're just really looking at the last month to see what worked well, what didn't work well. How's that as a coach when you have playing everybody twice in the division?
Yeah, just a little bit easier because you have a good idea of what teams do at that point in time and what they did against you and what worked for you and what didn't work for you. But it's still a grind. At the end of the day, as a coach, you just want to try to put your guys in best position where they can be successful at. So we'll look at that and get on that a little bit on Wednesday. Obviously, more so Thursday, Friday, and be ready for them on Saturday.
A little bit of a homestand here for the Vulcans. We got a Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, so it's going to be nice to actually have a couple times here at home. The guys can stay in their dorm rooms. Students are on campus now, so they can come out and check out some of these big games. Yeah,
hopefully we can get some crowd out. We'll need their support. It's a big week, like you said, playing at home. For us, we have to take care of business at home. That's kind of been a trend in our league. So we've got to be ready to go Wednesday and then, get ready again on Saturday. So it's a big week for us.
Lots of action here at the Convocation Center on campus. Big game starting here tomorrow against IUP, 7:30 tip for the men. Come out to the Convocation Center. Thanks for watching.